Let's set up Google Cloud Storage so that we can use it to host our learning objects that we create with Adobe Captivate and with Articulate Storyline. I'm going to walk you through setting up an account from scratch, setting up a bucket in cloud storage, which is basically like a folder where you will store your published projects. And then I'll walk you through making that bucket public so people can actually see what you put inside of it. Finally, I will upload two examples, one of a Captivate and one of a Storyline learning object. And I'll show you which link to share so that people can access your hosted projects on Google Cloud Storage. Let's go to Google Cloud Storage. I can never remember exactly the address, so I just Google Cloud Storage. It's that top result there, obviously. I already have a Google account that I'm logged into. If you don't have a Google account, you'll have to create one really quick. I haven't used cloud storage yet with this account, so I'm going to create one here. And I'm going to try storage for free. I will just pause here for a moment and note that cloud storage is really intended for like corporations or really big institutions. It can do a lot of really complicated stuff. And as an individual, I'm using it for really a very tiny purpose, just like basically to host my portfolio objects. So it can be intimidating to set up, but just follow the steps in this video. It'll be fine. You do have to put in your credit card to use Google Cloud Storage, but I pay between about 6 cents and 20 cents a month. It is dirt cheap to use, and there is a free trial. Now, these login screens might change over time, and the offers might change over time, but generally, the gist should be the same. Answer the demographic questions. I will note here that it says $300 credit over here. Google is not going to charge you $300. It's giving you a $300 credit for the first 90 days, okay? It is not charging you $300. It is not charging you $300. I get asked that a lot if you can't tell. It's not charging you $300. You do have to put in your credit card. But again, I pay pennies a month. And after the trial is over, it's not going to auto charge you. You will have to manually upgrade after your free trial to a paid account. So it's not just going to charge you out of the blue. It's going to give you a big notice. So it's very safe to put in your credit card. Again, it's dirt cheap, basically. It's not charging you $300. It's giving you $300 credit, kind of imaginary credit to use during your trial. All right, so let's continue on. Again, answer demographic questions. Put in your phone number for verification there. Obviously, I'm blurring out my personal information as I go through here. Asks you for a business name. I mean, you can change that. I'm just going to put in personal. I use this as an educator. So there's a chance here with a business account I could have multiple users, which is something I'm interested in. You do have to put in your credit card information. Again, it's not going to charge you. And you can start your free trial here. More demographic info, go ahead and answer all of that here. I'm just using this to have a place for my stuff to live for my portfolio. Basically, I'm using it to create a website, nothing really complicated, and I'm an academic/educator here, so if you're one of my students, that might be the option that you want to check. Okay, so the next thing you need to do, this is the dashboard, by the way, you'll see every time you log into Google Cloud Storage. The next thing we need to do is to create a bucket, which is basically like a subdirectory or a folder where we're going to store our learning objects. So now I'm going to go ahead and transition over to my existing cloud storage. You'll see that I have a lot of buckets, and I'll show you how to create a new one here. This is the dashboard for the cloud storage account that I use day to day, and I use to serve up content for the classes I teach and to host objects for my own portfolio on my website. You can see I got a bunch of buckets already created. Some of them are test buckets, some of them I was hoping to use for student projects. I'll show you how to create a new bucket here and how to make it public. So this is an important message over here, public to internet. That's something you want to see when you're done creating your bucket. All right, again, it's a little bit tricky. Follow the steps in this video, it'll be fine. So let's create a new bucket. I'm gonna call this video test. It has some naming guidelines up here if it gets upset at the name that you give it. Go ahead and, oh, that one's already taken, of course it is. Video test 2022. All right, let's continue on. Choose where you want to store your data. Just leave this stuff at its default for the most part. I'm not going to worry about it. It defaults to preventing public access on this bucket That's fine. Leave it checked to uniform. I'm going to show you how to change this after we create the bucket, just so that you know how to change it after you create a bucket and not just when you are creating a bucket. One of the big problems I have with people is that they create the bucket, then they have a problem and they don't want to change the public access. So I'll just start by showing you how to change that once you create the bucket. And I'm just going to leave that again all set to defaults. It's giving you some information here about pricing. 0.026 cents per gigabyte a month. Basically, it's charging you based on how much data is delivered from your cloud storage. It is very, very cheap for small potatoes people like me. All right, it's confirming again, public access will be prevented. You know what? That's fine. That's a great way to start because I'm not sure yet, if the stuff I put in this bucket I want to share with people. I will confirm. It's going to take a moment. Okay, I am already in my new bucket, excitingly named Video-Test-2022. And what I'm going to do here is first off, I'm going to change the permissions on this. I haven't put anything in here yet, but when I do put my projects in here that are published, I want to make sure that they will be accessible to the public. So see these tabs right here? You can move your mouse over them to hover them. I'm going to click on permissions. You'll see here there's a big box labeled public access, and there's an option down here to remove public access prevention. Yes, that's a double negative, making it a little bit confusing. Right now, public access is prevented, so I'm going to make it possible for the public to access this. So click this to make this bucket public. Yes, I want to remove that prevention. Confirm. Great. So public access is now possible. However, I have to do one more step to make sure people can access the stuff in my bucket. I'm going to go here to permissions and check grant access. All right, so under add principals, I need to make sure that everyone on the internet is able to view my content in this bucket on cloud storage. So type in ALL, and then users will come up, all users, so they don't have to be logged in, all users. And I'm going to assign all users, which is anybody in the world with internet access, I'm going to assign them the role cloud storage viewer. Oh, sorry. Where did it go? Right there. Viewer. All right, so you can see you have to choose one on the left here. It's a little bit tricky. So go down to cloud storage, bop over, viewer. Just viewer. You don't want them to be able to edit, create, mess with anything on your cloud storage. Just viewer. That's it. All right, so all users are going to be given the role storage object viewer. That is it. Good to go. Click save. Yes, I'm very sure I want to make this resource public. So Google is pretty good about making sure that you know everything's going to be public. Yes, I want to allow public access. Great. Okay. So these are the booklet details. I'm going to go back to objects in just a minute. Big C, we're still on permissions. Public access now is saying it's public to the internet. So all users have the role storage object viewer. You can see that's changed down here. The rest of the stuff is default stuff. Don't worry about that. And then access control, this is important. Access control needs to be uniform. Okay? That means everything in this bucket is going to be public. Do not switch to fine-grained. If it is fine-grained, change it back to uniform. The default is uniform, so I'm not going to worry about walking you through that. Just leave it here at uniform so everything in the bucket is public. That'll get the job done. All right, so let's pop back over to objects. I'm going to grab a published Storyline project and a published Captivate project, and I'm going to upload those so you can see how to get the link to share with others. I've got two projects already published. They're sitting here on my desktop, so I'm just going to go ahead and drag these over. So when you publish a project in Storyline or Captivate, grab that entire folder, because there's like hundreds of files in there, and drag the entire darn thing over into Google Cloud Storage. There's also options. You can go here to upload files or upload folder instead. I find it really easy just to grab the folder I want and drag it into Google Cloud Storage, and then you'll see the status bar over here, and it's telling you how long everything's going to take, or at least giving you a status on it. As you can see, there are a lot of files being uploaded, so give it a minute to process, and then once it's done, we will have the ability to find the link to share with our intended users. My files have all uploaded, all 181 files here. They've both appeared on screen. Again, I uploaded a Captivate project and a Storyline project. So let's start with Storyline here. I'm just opening that in a new tab, or you can just click right into it if you want to see it. You can see all the sub files here underneath the folder. So we're still in our original bucket, and now we're in the folder colors-storyline, and everything is loaded here. Let me lower that there. If you click on story.html, it gives you some more information about it. You'll see public URL and authenticated URL. If you click on public URL, you can see your project. Make sure that you do click on that. Make sure it is the link that you want to share. It's just a silly project that I made as an example project. That is definitely the one I want to share. So what I'm going to do is copy that. And this is the link that I want to share with my users. So I'm going to open up a incognito window. I'm going to paste that link and go. And now I can see that it does work in the incognito window, so I don't have to be logged in. No one has to be logged in. If you give someone this link, it should work. So that's the link that you want to share, is the story.html file. That's the link that you want to share. If you share the link to this, anyone will be able to open up your project. Just double check it by opening in an incognito window. So let's go back. Again, you can see all the files in here. That's the one you want, story.html. And what that will do is it will actually kick your user to either the Flash or the HTML5 version. Flash is real antiquated. Do not share the Flash link with anybody. Let the person's browser choose. So the story.html file will kick the person to where they need to be. So don't need to worry about anything else. Just share that file with them. Oops, I exited a little bit too far out here. Let's go back into video test. If you are working with the Captivate project, the link you want to share is the one for index.html. Same deal here. Click on this. Click again on the public URL. Make sure this is the correct link you want to share. Again, it's actually an identical project to the Storyline project. I was showing how Storyline and Captivate are similar. In any case, that's one they want to share. So you can copy that URL, do the same testing in an incognito or private window, paste in that link, make sure it works. If it works in an incognito window, anyone should be able to use it. That's great. And then that's the link that I will share out. So if you go back one more time, you want to share the index.html link with your users. If they can access that, they can access the entire project. That's it. That's the entire process. So again, you'll have all your buckets accessible from this home page here. Just remember where you keep your stuff. Don't use any spaces in your folder names or file names. And just remember, for Storyline, share the story.html. And for Captivate, share the index.html. If you have any issues that your users report, say they can't access it, double check your permissions at the bucket level. Make sure it's public to internet. Make sure the access is uniform. And make sure that all users have the role of storage object viewer. And that's it. You can use Google Cloud Storage to host content for learning, or you can use it to host your Storyline and Captivate projects for your portfolio. Be sure to check out some of the other videos I have on how to embed your objects using iframes, or how to share them out to portfolio and to others so that they can access them and enjoy them.